The series of land grab cases involving prominent politicians from Maharashtra continues. Now, it's been a few days since Parth Pawar, son of Maharashtra's Deputy Chief Minister, and again one of the more prominent leaders from the state, Ajit Pawar, has been making rounds. There are several complexities that can be uncovered in this entire case. Well, the case in itself has got several versions and several facets to itself, which are quite confusing and not necessarily fully legal. But even beyond that, this conversation leads to what kind of political equations are we seeing getting created in Maharashtra before the state goes for civic polls very very soon. Now first, let us try and understand what is the very basis of the case in question here. We're talking about 43 acres of land in Koregaon, which is one of the one of the most lucrative places in Pune, perhaps one of the most expensive places, not just in the state but also in the country, in amidst a very well developed IT park. Now this 43 acre of land is a botanical garden, but it wasn't always a botanical garden. Historically, a Mahar Watan. What is Mahar Watan now? Mahar Watan is the land which was reserved for the Mahar community, which is today classified into scheduled caste, SC community. Now, after the dissolution of the Watandari in 50s and 60s, a lot of these pieces of lands were given to the government either on a full-term basis or temporarily. This particular land was given to the central government's botanical project, where at least for 50 years, the central government got a chance or got an opportunity to develop a botanical garden. However, the ownership of close to 272 to 274 descendants of the original Mahar descendants still stayed true. Cut to year 2006. In 2006, a certain Sheetal Tejwani signed a contract, signed a piece of deal with these individuals, that is Gaikwad and company, and paid a nominal amount of either 5,000 or 10,000 rupees to each of them, and then got control of this land. Even that is not the biggest problem, but 19 years after that, that is in 2025, the land was then transferred or was to be given to Parth Pawar's a media company, where Parth Pawar has 99% of stake. Now, as I said, this entire story has got a lot of complexities at different levels. Firstly, how did Sheetal Tejwani, a complete third person, got into a deal with a land which originally is a piece of Mahar Watan, at that point of time was with the central government, as there still is a botanical garden there. How does she sign any sort of a deal with the original descendants of those who have the right over that piece of land? Number one, even if she does that, 19 years down the line, how does she try and sell that land to a completely different entity, as if it's a private land? It is not. It's not just a government land, but it's also a piece of land which used to be a Mahar Watan, right? Which puts it under a lot of limitations as far as its transactions are concerned. Now, the land is, as I said earlier, just over 43 acres. Now, when our correspondents in Pune spoke to the experts there, they found out that the price of the land would be anywhere close to 1,800 crore rupees. Whereas the deal, from what we know, was only done for 293 to 300 crores, which means that a massive amount of deficit or a massive amount of concession was provided to Parth Pawar and his partner Digvijay Patil as far as this land is concerned. Now, Deputy Chief Minister Ajit Pawar spoke yesterday on this matter and said that a committee has been set up to study this entire matter thoroughly, and anyone who is found guilty action will be taken against him. And the same thing was reiterated by Chief Minister later as well. Now, what is important for us to understand is we got a brief understanding of what the issue is, but let us try and talk about the news pointers. When the FIR was filed, in two different police stations, it was primarily against three individuals. Sheetal Tejwani, who has played a very pivotal role in the transfer of land in 2006 and now as well. Then we have Digvijay Patil. Digvijay Patil, as I said earlier, is 1% partner with Parth Pawar in the Amedia company, which is trying to strike a deal for this particular land. And then a sub-registrar officer, Mr. Yevle, against whom also an action has been taken because it was under his view that all of this development happened. But why has Parth Pawar's name not been included in the FIR was a pertinent question that was asked not just by the opposition but also by the media to both Chief Minister and Deputy Chief Minister, who gave their own answers by stating that the procedure of an FIR is different. Only the signatories who are present at that point of time, an FIR has been filed against them, but action will be taken against all of those involved in this entire matter. Now, how much of it is true, we'll only know once the ACS committee, which has gotten 1 month, the 6-member committee, which has gotten 1 month of time to study this entire matter. It's only after that we'll understand whether Parth Pawar is treated just like the others whose names have been mentioned in the FIR or not. Here we got a bit of understanding of what the case is. Now, let me very briefly try and talk about a bit of politics that is happening here. Now, the timeline of this entire matter is very important, right? Because only when this issue came up, a few days ago, the first phase of the civic polls in Maharashtra was announced. And in that, after that announcement came, there were rumors about how Parth Pawar might be leading the way for the Nationalist Congress Party in Pune, at least. In fact, when we asked Supriya Sule about it, she said that Parth Pawar is not interested in these kind of elections. But the fact that the name came up means that the rumors were making rounds at that point of time. And this is one issue, one land grabbing issue that has come to the surface, but it is not the only one. Only a couple of weeks back, we were very intensely talking about Muralidhar Moho, who is a central Minister of State for Home Department, Minister of State for Ministry of Cooperation, and works directly under Amit Shah. How his name was brought up in a matter related to Jain boarding or Jain society in Pune, where the person who made allegations against him was not primarily a member of the opposition parties, but he was from the ally of the Bharatiya Janata Party, that is Shinde faction of Shiv Sena. Is there some sort of a similar political settlement that has been tried to be put in place in this case as well? Because Ajit Pawar and his faction has made it very clear, that in Pune, it will be the NCP that will be the foremost party when it comes to the upcoming civic polls. But the Bharatiya Janata Party has tried to make its inroads in the last 10 years. And we've also seen that Shinde faction of Sena has also very actively tried to kind of expand itself to Pune and close by regions. Now, of course, we are just trying to shoot in the dark when we speak about the political possibilities of this entire matter. But it's something that one cannot ignore when so many of coincidences take place at the same time. With my camera person Amar Sabkar, this is Anuj Raith reporting for NDTV from Mumbai.